Hey, my name's Anthony Fick, and welcome to the Diamond Dialogue Podcast. We are talking about FFA today, and seeing how we have quite a few people here, I'm going to let them introduce themselves today.
So I'm Taryn Drake, and I'm the chapter president. I'm also an area area officer, not president.
I'm Mallory Beck, and I am the chapter's vice president.
I'm Callie Sweet, and I am our chapter's secretary.
My name is Ms. Shriver, and I am one of our advisors.
I'm Mr. Nelson, and I'm one of the advisors as well.
Awesome. So let's start with the beginning. What is FFA? I know coming into the district from St. Louis, didn't have a big ag background by any stretch of the imagination, so it was new for me. So for those who may not be familiar with what FFA is, why don't you educate people? We'll start with Taryn.
So FFA is this organization that is nationwide. So we have 120 kids that are in our chapter. So we have different levels. So we have green hands, which are our freshmen, and then sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And we have an officer team, so that's certain kids that interview to be on the officer team. And that's a leadership role for our chapter. And that's kind of the base of what FFA is. And we learn about leadership and service. And we have a 3-circle model that is what FFA is. It's SAE, which an SAE is a supervised agriculture experience. So that's whether you have a job or you own animals or something like that. So it's getting out there and learning how to make money, learning how to have a work ethic. And the second one is classroom. So classroom is obviously where we learn about everything, that goes into leadership or service or work ethic. And then the third one is FFA, leadership. So like I said, leadership is something that we take pride in and something that we really work for.
Yeah, great. And I know I've learned, in a small school district, FFA is almost like the heartbeat of a school, and the fact that, there's just so many different connections to the community and things that go on. So, Mallory, why don't you speak deeper? I know we're kind of in contest season. Why don't you speak, just kind of talk to the community about what it is you guys are doing right now?
Mm-hmm. So I'm on the ag sales team. So the last few months we've been going nonstop to contests, just trying to get better and really figure out how to do our contest to our best ability.
Yeah, and I know we had spoken earlier this year. You had an opportunity to go somewhere kind of far, doing something kind of cool.
Yeah, so like Taryn was saying about the SAE side of thing, that's a big part in FFA to me. I go home and FFA is still a part of my life. It's not just at school. So my SAE, I show sheep, goats, and pigs now. So that's something I go home every day and work hard to be successful in the show ring.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, so Callie, I know you have a pretty big ag and FFA background. I know in a lot of communities, athletics is a big deal, but I know specifically in your family, you guys are big into showing, if I'm right. Is that correct?
We used to be.
Yeah. Okay, so why don't you talk a little bit deeper about that or your past history with that?
Yeah, so I started when I was around 8 years old, which is when I think just about everyone starts, right? And we started out with heifers, which is market cattle. That was not my strong suit, personally. I had a very hard time with the larger animals. But then we moved to showing show lambs. And that was, I think, where my biggest passion was, as far as my agriculture background, was showing lambs. We raised our own lambs to show.
Yeah.
And so I got to watch these newborn lambs grow and work with them and help them reach, their best capabilities in the show ring. And I feel like that was really special to have that connection to them from basically the day of their birth up until how we had gone through all these months, through all these different show rings, and we've traveled so far, and we've worked so many hours together.
Yeah.
It was a really special bond to have there.
So when we say showing, what do we exactly mean when we say showing?
So we take animals to, when you picture a county fair,
Yeah.
and you think of how you've got the barn with the fences and the animals inside, that's basically what we're talking about. In the show ring, we take it really seriously, and we all take a lot of pride in it.
Yeah.
And it's super competitive. And there's a lot of different ways that we all get ready for the show ring. So feeding is a big, big part of it. There's different like supplements or different additives that we add into our feeds, different brands of feed that all serve different purposes. There's different supplies as far as like on show day to get ready for these as well. I know that a lot of people will, it's almost like cosmetics in a way,
Yeah.
but for animals instead
Yeah.
of for people.
Very cool. Well, Ms. Shriver, so Ms. Shriver, for those that don't know, brand new to the district this year, kind of stepping in and has done an amazing job, known as the plant wizard when we hired her. Ms. Shriver, why don't you talk about, your experience at Diamond so far and our FFA program, our ag program.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe Mr. Nelson too.
We don't have enough time for that. Just kidding. I have absolutely loved being at Diamond so far. I think the kids made it so easy on me, even in the summer. Our contract starts July 1st, so we don't really get a summer kind of like to ourselves doing big, crazy vacations. So I just kind of came in the gates running. We had our county fair. I went and watched a lot of our other kids' show at OEF in Springfield. And the kids have just made it so easy to transition into student teaching where it kind of feels like your own for 4 months.
Yeah.
And then, you kind of have to step away. But these kids have made it just amazing to build relationships with. And Mr. Nelson, of course, I actually kind of knew him when I was in high school because my dad was an ag teacher. So they taught together for quite a while. So I kind of had a background with him, just kind of seeing him around, knowing him, knowing his personal kids. So he's made it awesome to just work with, and we always know how to have a good laugh. We know how to get things done. We know how to, as a chapter, make things run really smoothly. And that's partially all because of these kids. We're just kind of behind the scenes as leadership.
Yeah.
And we kind of want to give them the tools to be successful throughout life.
Yeah, I know, just from an outsider kind of stepping into the Ag FFA, I mean, I'm just amazed at the different leadership opportunities that our kids get to experience, whether it's me coming down and you're doing interview practice or, I mean, there's just so many things. So Mr. Nelson, if those of you who may know Mr. Nelson, he's been around for quite a while, both at Diamond and other school districts. Mr. Nelson, why don't you talk specifically about the FFA program here at Diamond, its current place and its health and where it's going and the vision? Because I know as the kind of the experienced one, you're leading that charge.
Well, it's been an exciting ride. When I come back here after teaching 20 years ago here, some of these kids that we have in school and students I had their parents, and that just shows my age. But I mean, it's exciting to see kids grow up and still their own kids want to be involved in the program. And the program is right in the middle of a very agriculture-based area, and with Joplin being right there and growing as well. So
Yeah.
there is so much agriculture. We're very lucky to have the kids that come in our program and walk through our doors in our ag department are exciting to see the growth and the kids that want to learn more about agriculture. And I know it's one of those things that's starting to fall behind, and we need to educate more of the kids and go back to the basics and help them have some of those tools to get that much more knowledge and be better in agriculture and be a voice that's going to be helpful. So seeing the young kids, it motivates an older teacher, but also a younger teacher to come in and have those tools with those kids, but that excitement time to see the kids grow and be that much more something that they're helping themselves with and to be a better person themselves. So I think our ag department is growing, and we've got lots of young kids coming up.
Good.
In our junior high program and grade school program into the high school. So I'm glad that Ms. Shriver has joined us. She is a great ball of fire and a lot of excitement with the kids.
Accurate
and all
ball of
that.
fire.
So,
In the best way possible.
yeah, absolutely.
So I know in the spring there's a lot of things going in, and honestly, this episode probably won't air for a week and a half or so. So maybe moving past a week and a half, what are some major things that are kind of coming up that you might want to share with the community?
Taryn, do you want to?
Oh yeah. So a couple things that we have coming up is we have our cornhole tournament coming up. So
That's a big one.
Yeah, that's April 12th. So that gets put on by the Booster Club.
Okay.
We have our labor auction coming up, which is the 16th, 14th.
Okay.
Our labor auction is the 14th. So that's where our kids go out and work for 4 hours for somebody that comes in and basically buys their labor. So like we'll go out and work for them for 4 hours and like help them do anything that they need around the house.
Like put up a fence.
Yeah,
or,
put up a fence,
Okay.
paint a fence, help them
Yeah.
if they have a garden or something like that.
Sure.
We can do that kind of stuff. And then we also sell like new and old items at the labor auction as well.
Yeah.
And all of that money goes to the Booster Club, which in turn helps us.
Yeah.
So that's something that we really like look forward to
Yeah,
because it gives us more opportunities.
I got to go last year. It was a cool experience. If anybody's never been there, I would highly recommend it. So, and I'll pass this maybe off to our ag teacher. So, in kind of closing, is there anything that you want the community to know either about the program, you as teachers, your kids, to kind of wrap us up for today?
Can I go first?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. I would say we appreciate your support so much. I don't think you really understand how much these kids try and work for the community. And that's with doing things like Food for America, like bringing those little kids and seeing what agriculture and different industries looks like. But your support of just showing up to our events means the absolute world to us. And I think these three can agree. I know Mr. Nelson agrees, and our whole FFA chapter. With other events, we do have a greenhouse sale May 3rd, which is a Friday, and May 4th, Saturday. So on Friday, it's from 9 to 6, and then Saturday, it's 9 to 5. So that's another big thing that's coming up that our students will actually be running and helping with.
Awesome. Mr. Nelson, anything?
No, sounds good.
Okay, girls, anything in closing?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, hey, again, Anthony Fake and Diamond High School principal. This is Diamond Dialogue Podcast.